Welcome to another episode of the Modern Skein podcast. This is episode 158.
Woo!
I remember.
I'm so proud of you because I forgot to look again.
And my name is Sharon Graff, and I am the owner of the Modern Skein, which is a yarn shop here in Conroe, Texas.
And I'm Cathie, and I'm the resident, we don't know what, but if you don't know, ask Cathie.
It's true. If there is an issue, it's kind of default to, where's Cathie?
Right.
She might know the answer.
Right.
She's seen it last. Yes.
Oh.
So hello and welcome. And yeah, the sun is shining, so the shadows are a bit weird today, but you know what? It's fine.
But you know what? I'm so glad to see some sunshine because we've had a few gloomy days here.
Was it gloomy?
Yes, it was very overcast and drippy. We didn't get as much rain as predicted, but it just stayed kind of damp and yeah. Well, so sunshine's welcome.
Well, we had a interesting weather. I mean, because obviously we flew through all the bumps.
You might tell them where you've been.
Oh yeah, I think that minor detail.
Just in case someone's not sure.
Just in case. So Josh and I went to New York. It's not upstate New York. It is not also Hudson Valley. The place between the city and the Hudson Valley.
Okay.
I think there's a term. It's Westchester County. We were in Mount Kisco, New York, for a trunk show for Red Stag Fiber at Pick Up Every Stitch, owned by Felicia and Karen, and they are amazing, super sweet. It was an awesome trunk show. And in case you're like, why'd you go with Red Stag? In case you don't know, because people don't, he's my husband. So that's why I get to tag along when he goes on fun places.
In case you also don't know, he is not my son.
That is true, because we get that also a lot too. We're not related.
Nope.
Just works out that way. So anyway, so yes, we were in New York for the weekend. Drove up Friday after just an early morning, a bumpy, it was just like nothing was bad. It was just like one of those, is this travel day ever going to end? And then we were starving. And then I forgot we took one of the roads we took to get up there was the expressway, and you can't get off once you're on the expressway. Ooh. I mean, like, you can, but there's nothing there.
Right.
Like, there's, okay,
so why would you?
Why? So on our highways, expressways, whatever you want to call them, it's like every exit, there's 59 choices of stuff to eat, drink, sleep, whatnot, you know? That just isn't the case. Every like 20 miles, there's a gas station and a Dunkin' Donuts, and that's about it.
Wow.
I know. And you don't even get off. You like pull to the median center and
I've done that. I've done that before.
Yeah.
I believe it was coming down from Northwest Arkansas through Oklahoma where everything's in the center.
Has that. Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. We drove through there once, and we had that as well on one of their roads. Anyway, different. And so, and I've talked about this before, but New York roads are so slow.
Because in Texas, folks, the number 55 on the road sign is not the highway number, and it's not the speed limit.
Oh,
it's sort of
not.
Okay, here's what you do and add 20.
Yeah, that's like the minimum. Right. I mean, the cops in Texas can pull you over if you're going too slow.
Correct.
Correct. And they do that. So yeah, it's just different. Wild. So anyway, we had a great time. We flew up there. It was freezing cold. Even Josh was a little chilled, wore his jacket.
Oh my. That is cold if
cloudy.
He's got a jacket on.
Mm-hmm. Cloudy, it was cold, a little damp, but it wasn't raining. And then Saturday we wake up, the sun is shining, the birds are singing, and it got to, I think, 70 something.
Oh,
and
perfect.
They were like, what is this magicalness that you brought with you? And I was a little bummed because it was too hot to wear my sweater.
All those plans of, yes, finally I'll be someplace cool enough to wear.
So it was funny because I started off the day wearing the Doppio sweater.
Okay.
Which I showed on the podcast. And then, which is fingering, held with another fingering, held with a suri. So it's a thicker sweater. It's a nice, cozy winter sweater. And in the morning, it was still 50 degrees. It was chilly for me.
Okay.
So I enjoyed wearing it. I didn't have I had a coat, but I didn't wear it. Anyway, and then we got to the shop, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is coming off. They're like, yeah, we're going to have to turn on the air conditioning for the first time. And it's like...
For the first time?
I know.
Oh.
I know.
That seems very foreign to us.
Yeah. It's like, what do you mean for the first time? It's always on.
Right.
But so anyway, had to change into the minimalist cowl for the rest of it, and it was warm. It was.
Yes.
Kevin and Ray showed up in shorts, and sweaters, but
right. Right. That's always been something that fascinates me, and I never understood why I would see people, especially here in Texas. Mm-hmm. Shorts and flip-flops and a heavy parka. I've seen it multiple times, and I just don't understand it until the day came and I started having hot flashes. And then it was like, yeah, okay, so the bottom half of my body doesn't get cold and it doesn't get hot. The upper half, a whole different story. It's on and off and on and off and on and off. But, yeah. So, anyway. And now I own flip-flops that are shirling. So,
Oh, goodness. So that was fun. We did the trunk show. It was fabulous. Great to meet you guys. And, oh my gosh, the lady that came up from the city that watches the podcast, your name was not Michelle. I'm 99.9 positive. But, hello, I'm so sorry. I can't remember your name.
If any of you have ever been to an event like that where you're sort of a low number and then there's a lot of people coming through, like the fiber festivals and things like that, it is so difficult to keep things straight in your head as far as people's names, especially those people that you don't have history or don't know very well.
Well, it's like I'd seen pictures of Felicia and Karen before.
Right.
Like I knew, okay, you're Felicia, you're Karen. Like I knew that. And then their staff, which is amazing. I know there's a Claudia. Could not tell you which one was Claudia. Oops. Claudia does crochet though. We know that.
Okay.
And then I believe her name was Beth. I do think she's the one that she had a beautiful Thea Coleman vest on that you.
Oh, I've seen the
pictures.
I've seen the picture. Yes.
I talked to her about potato vodka. She might be doing that one as well. She was fabulous. And then there was the other lady that had the most amazing blue and white striped shirt that I loved, and it had embroidery on it that was like "Have a happy day" or something like that. I was like, it was so cute, loved it. Totally forgot her name. Anyway, great shop, great people. Of course, you had a resident baker, which was fabulous, a Basque cheesecake, and an olive oil chocolate cake, which was divine. Of course, I have an espresso machine in the back, just like we do.
Oh gosh, so, so you were right in your element.
I was in my element. It's fabulous.
Wonderful.
So wonderful time. Great people. Great meeting all the people. Of course, Kevin and Ray from Needles at the Ready podcast came down and showed off they made hats. One with the worsted, one with the fingering.
Okay.
And then Kevin was wearing his cozy classic raglan that he did in Brick Tavern.
No, that was Ray.
That is Ray, not Kevin.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Totally.
Yes.
I do know.
Yes.
I do know who is who. Trust me, I do. Because Kevin and I had a good conversation about spinning fiber, which we'll chat about a little bit. So yes, we had that and met, like I said, tons of people came through.
That's wonderful.
It was great. I sat down only a few times and knit about half a row, and that's how it is.
Signs of a good time when you don't even have time to to knit.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, wonderful.
So yeah, it was fun. And then the next day it was freezing cold again, and we drove back to Newark Airport, and this time we drove kind of a different route than we've done before and ended up through like White Plains and Yonkers, Bronx, so way more of New York City.
Here's how much I don't know about New York.
Yeah.
I recognize the names of all those places. I would have to hunt them up on a map. I have no clue.
My crude estimation is, of course, Manhattan Island is in the bottom.
Right.
Bronx is on top.
Okay.
And then above that, not on the island of Manhattan,
Okay.
but on the mainland of New York, I'm probably being like, what are you doing? And I have family from New York, so I feel like I can say all this. Then you have White Plains, Yonkers, and then up Westchester, and then like straight line-ish. That's the Hudson River, and then you've got the Hudson Valley, which is where Rhinebeck and Saugerties and all that stuff.
All
just
right.
a little bit further north, and then you go another hour north of that, and you hit Albany, the capital.
Okay.
So just kind of right there.
Someday maybe I'll get a chance to visit. Yeah. We'll see.
Exactly. So yeah, we drove through there. That was a harrowing experience, especially when the GPS decided to recalculate in the midst of like the lanes going like this.
Oh, I love that.
Know?
Yes.
We were on the lower level of the George Washington Bridge, right? I think it was the George Washington Bridge. I think so. And it was just like, oh, recalculating. And it's like, there's like 15 choices. And I'm like, I don't know.
I had something similar to that happen to me one time in San Antonio. And girl, I made a loop around and around and was still always in the wrong lane. Oh, no. Always in the wrong. It took like 5 tries before I finally got in the right place.
I was like, just try to find a sign that says Newark or New Jersey or Trenton. I know that's the general area we need to go. And so Josh was like, well, let's go this way. And it worked out.
Well, good.
But yeah, it was, but other than that, it was a fun little trip. Quick.
Very quick.
Nice. And, we had some amazing food. I know you guys want to talk about, yarn and knitting, and we'll definitely get to that, but I do love a good food. And there was a very authentic pub, English pub, owned by these 2 fabulous Brits from Amblesey. And so that was the Ambleside pub.
Wonderful.
Oh, Josh had shepherd's pie 2 nights in a row.
Well, because it's Josh.
It's Josh,
right?
And he loves some shepherd's pie. The first night I had a sausage roll, and it was delightful. And the second night I said, okay, they had a special of the day, which was a chicken pie, so like a chicken pot pie kind of thing, or their fish and chips. And I was like, okay, it's my last night here. What should I get? She's like, you got to have the fish and chips.
I was going to say,
perfect.
I'd vote for the fish and chips.
I had the fish and chips.
For
They
sure.
did not disappoint. They were amazing. Side of mushy peas, fabulous. I actually adore mushy peas. I know half the world hates them, but I like them. They're delicious.
You do you?
Yep, exactly. Some malt vinegar chips. So good. I had,
Sounds wonderful. Now you're making me hungry.
And then they had I don't even know, 30 different types of gins. And
Of what?
Gin.
Gin. Gin, like the drink.
Gin,
I'm
like
thinking
the drink, like a gin and tonic.
I thought you said gin, like the little bitty powdered donuts. And I was very confused.
No. So like a gin and tonic. And so
Okay. Now I'm on board. Now I'm
the second day it
understanding.
wasn't as busy, and so she was like, here, smell this one, what do you like, and everything. So that was really cool. Had
okay.
kind of a little gin tasting. Of course, first night I had to have Guinness
Because you're in an English pub.
it was an
How can
English
you not
pub.
have Guinness?
They did have their own, but it's like, no, I just need a good. And they had I had the first draw off of a fresh cask and I know. It was just it was
Okay.
nice. It was good. Now that I've made Cathie jealous.
Yes. Now I'm gonna go home and pout for the rest of the day.
We can get into finished object. Do you have a finished object?
I have a finished object because my NFO has turned into an FO. This is the Tolsta tea. Should I back up a little bit?
Maybe.
This is the Tolsta tea by Rebecca Clow that y'all are probably sick to death of hearing about. It's knit in the new Red Stag Fiber Yorkshire fingering in the color French Waistcoat. And let me tell you, in this fingering weight, I did not alternate skeins. I didn't do anything special. I just knit away, and I just love the tonality in this and the way that it looks. It's plain, it's simple, and yet it's not too plain. If that makes any, I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but I'm loving it and glad to finally have it finished. So that's my first FO.
First? You have two?
I have two. Oh, you have none?
I have none.
Oh, good. Well, you've been traveling and busy.
Yeah.
So my second FO is my Harlow hat. This was a sort of a, I'm going to help somebody learn brioche, and I need to replace my Harlow hat. This is in a fingering weight, so it's in red stag fiber in Hebrides and Compton Bay. And there you can kind of show the colors there. This is a hat that I wear on the cool spring mornings and the cool autumn mornings when I just, I don't have a whole lot of hair. And so when I just need something on my head, but I don't want anything heavy. And it's really one of my favorite hats to wear. So I did finish that. So I have two FOs, which sort of makes up for last week.
Well, I'm
so tickled that I
know.
beat you in some category. I'm very competitive, if you haven't guessed.
Yes. So I completely forgot it at home. The outline raglan will definitely be making an appearance next week.
You did finish that.
No, I didn't finish it.
Oh, you still got sleeves.
Yes.
Okay, right. I was thinking, wait a minute, no, you didn't. Okay.
I finished one sleeve.
Okay.
So I only have like half a sleeve left.
Okay.
So it will be
It
done
will make
by
an
the next
appearance.
podcast,
It will
for
make
sure.
its appearance.
It will be
'cause
done.
It's very cute.
And I don't know, but I feel like I might have a second finished object soon.
Okay.
But
Let's
know.
let's
Let's-
hear your
let's
prognosis or your prediction, or
the balloon cardigan might be
Is getting very
It's
close?
getting
Okay.
close, yes. But on the subject of Yorkshire fingering, since that's what we went up to chat about, and I feel like I haven't shown this lately.
No.
It is not finished, but this is a sample that I am doing in the Yorkshire fingering. So this is the Kyler shawl by Isabel Kramer, and so you can see it's this beautiful lace pattern right here, and then as it grows, then you just switch to a stockinette, kind of a plain section over here, and then this will get larger, and then you go, and then there's a little ribbing detail at the end. So it's I'll say traditional triangular shaped shawl, or asymmetrical triangle, and it's the stitch definition. Everyone this weekend was like raving about stitch definition of all of the bases, honestly, of the fingering, of the worsted, of the DK, of the sport. And that is truly, I think, my favorite thing about it is how good and crisp the stitch definition is.
And that's somewhat surprising to me because this yarn is so soft.
It's so soft, and it does produce a halo.
Yes.
And so that's the thing. Like, if you look at it, your sweater has a hint of a halo
Just a
to
hint.
it.
Just a hint.
My Mozart sweater has a hint of a halo to it, but not in a bad way, and not in a way that obscures any of the stitch definition.
Right.
So it's just a good yarn, It really is.
Can't disagree. And it's fun to
It is.
It's easy on your hands to work with. It feels good while you're knitting it or crocheting it.
Karen was saying one of the things she likes the best about it is you can knit a sweater out of it, block it, wear it, and like it always bounces back to its shape. There's
Yes.
Part of that is because it is non-superwash, but also part of that is the characteristics of the yarn too, because even some non-superwashes
Tend to stretch or sag over time.
Over time, yes. Not like
Yes.
right away, not like to
Yes.
the extremes of superwash, obviously, but over time it can just lose a little bit of its shape. Whereas this stuff, it's like it bounces back. It's great. So this is the colorway Natural. So this is the natural sheep color of the
Yes.
two sheeps blended together. It's kind of a warm gray.
That's how I would describe
Yeah.
it, as a warm gray.
A warm gray. It's not a brown, but it's a warm gray. So yeah, that's my Kyler. That's what I've been working on in the fingering weight. Y'all already saw the patterns that I made in the worsted,
Right.
which is Gridscapes. They are now Gridscape hat and Gridscape cowl. They are available on Ravelry. Thank you to all the people that have been downloading them, because
Yes.
we have had quite a few download them. If you purchase both at any time, it should be set up to do this. You don't have to do it right now, but so they're $6 separately, each pattern. But if you purchase them, then it'll be a bundle price of $9. So let's just say you buy the cowl today, and then you decide later you want to add the hat, it will discount the hat to reach the total of $9.
That's a nice feature.
Yeah. So, yeah, just passing it on.
Well, let's see. Let's go to,
You want to talk about that? What I have fuzz.
since we're talking about the Yorkshire base, let me
Sure.
show you where I'm at on the potato vodka cardigan,
Oh,
which
you have
is
Steve.
the Yorkshire Decay with a Spincycle. The Yorkshire Decay is in the Brick Tavern, and I have started the first sleeve. And I'll tell you what, now I'm in the stockinette portion, and I'm kind of sad because working this pattern, there was something about this pattern of stitches. Not difficult, it's knits and purls. There's nothing like, oh wow, that's a very complicated stitch. But there was just something satisfying about doing it, and it was just like, okay, one more row. And actually it's in sets of 2 because of cardigan, you've got to go across and back.
Yeah.
But I love the way it's looking. I'm so happy with it.
And the fade of the Spincycle is just
Yes.
so good. So this is
Castaway.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
Castaway. Which a little birdie told me we might be getting in our next one.
Well, good, because I'm about to run out.
Oh.
And it's one of those I like to keep on hand because it's got some of my favorite colors in it. But so that is my
Yeah.
most worked on whip, or pretty much most worked
Well,
on.
that actually ties into what I worked on the most on the plane back in row 39
Oh no.
out of 40.
Go to, well, at least you didn't get that one at the bulkhead where you got to sit like
Sit
this
straight up,
with
yeah.
your neck bent forward.
Oh my gosh. It was an interesting flight.
Okay, you're going to talk about that.
I am
so
going to
I'm
talk about that, so
I'm
you
going
should
to.
talk about that.
Okay.
Haha. That, this and that. So my goal was to, and I thought I was a lot closer, to get to the decreases.
Okay, this is going to be so funny. Okay, can we sort of
No,
stretch this out? Okay.
so this is the center right here, just got to the decrease.
Okay. Guess what?
What?
I'm just to the decrease too, but
Let's show a row
Okay.
gauge difference.
well, and a yarn difference because
sure?
and also a
There's no way you have 119.
no, I don't.
Oh.
I do not. I do
Okay.
not. So let's hold it the same way.
Okay. Because I was about to
Okay.
say, you did not get to the decreases.
No, but I knit this out of a very lightweight yarn, a very lightweight fingering yarn. And my intent is to have this not so much as a warmth shawl or scarf. I want it for an accessory type.
Okay. So you made it smaller.
So I believe it was 90 stitches, close.
Okay.
And I decided, you know what? I'm going to tangle myself up like a spider web here. For what I want to do with this, which is just make it like a little accessory piece, I'm going to go ahead and start my decreases.
Okay.
So I deliberately chose to do that, and I
Okay.
just hit that point. So from here on, I will be decreasing.
Okay. That makes more sense.
So there
yeah.
we are.
Yeah. So so this is Thru Lines by Andrea Mowry. So it's, I'm using Camper from Kelbourne Woolens in the Chestnut, which is the dark, Oatmeal, which is the light, and then my little lines through here are House Blend from Spincycle. You can see as they progressively get a little bit darker.
It's so pretty.
It's so
it's
pretty.
really pretty. And my yarn is Red Stag Fiber Cottage Sock in the colorways Vann, which is the turquoise or aqua color, and Birch. And then my Spincycle color is,
Space
what did we say? Space Oddity. Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can tell, but it goes from like,
Can we? We are going to be tangled up in yarn here in just a minute.
it goes from like the teal to like this pinky coral to white to gray.
To a
It has
darker coral. And, yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah. Anyway, so there you are, sort of the exact same pattern, and with a couple of different purposes in mind.
Yeah.
Which I think is wonderful.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, since we already kind of chatted, I'm just throwing this stuff.
You're just throwing
everywhere.
stuff around.
Since we chatted a little bit about the balloon sweater, I'm going to show that because
Okay.
I did finish both the sleeves.
Oh, look. 2 sleeves done.
Sleeves. So all I have to do
Oh, and
is
I
knit
love
the
it.
body. So yes, I do think this will get finished.
I would put my money on that.
Yeah.
I would have no problem saying,
Because I
oh yes,
already
that will
have-
definitely happen.
Probably about 4 to 5 inches on the body.
Yes.
And I like probably around 10 to 12 for me. I'll have to see what she says in the pattern.
Yeah.
But yeah, both sleeves are done.
I really like the way they look.
Power knit the sleeves and binged Severance. So
Oh, I haven't watched yet, so
Okay.
don't spoil. No
I won't,
spoilers.
I
no
won't
spoilers.
spoil it. I will just say it's very good. Talk about cliffhangers.
Okay.
And I think you'd like it because there's not really a sci-fi element to it. Because I know the last show I recommended, you were like, there's got sci-fi in it.
And that's fine. People, I have several friends that love sci-fi stuff. It's just not my jam.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
Go for it.
And I can take a little bit of, I like sort of futuristic technology type sci-fi. I'm not so much into, I'm not even sure how to describe
well,
it.
then
But
I
there,
think you're
but
gonna
I
like
just
that.
kind of have that. There's just a limit to what I like, and then I lose interest
Well,
very
because
quickly.
Severance is kind of like futuristic, but very retro at the same time. Like there's a lot of modern
Okay.
technology, but it stopped
See,
in
I
the 60s,
I
kind of.
thoroughly enjoyed Paradise, which is
Okay.
not really futuristic, but it's more of a what if this happened?
And kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
Same kind of thing.
Yeah. So, there's some I like.
Perfect.
Okay. Where should we go from here? This will get a lot of talking about. Well, not a lot of talking about, but this is going to be fun.
Okay. So why don't you talk about it?
Do you want to do this first or do
I think
this?
I can. You can. Why don't you
Okay.
talk about that.
Let's talk about struggles.
Well, that's good because then
Okay.
that'll also be a little bit of. I had
Oh.
a struggle about that.
Okay,
So
good.
that'll
So we're into the struggle section.
struggle bus
This is
section.
chapter 13 about the struggles, okay? You know from if you've watched the past episodes that this is the Torin scarf by Rebecca Clow. And you know that I struggled with the pattern itself a little bit.
It's really good though.
Finally figured it out, and okay, here's a conclusion that I reached. People think differently. I know that comes as a great revelation to most of you, but while Sharon was gone, I also was tasked with sort of taking care of Suri, and I don't have a cat, I have a dog. And it came to me as I was struggling with some issues with little Miss Suri that cats get away with things that dogs would never be allowed to do. So when I got to this pattern, I thought, I reread everything in the pattern and I realized it's not necessarily wrong, it's a way of thinking about it. Mm-hmm. And so I think Rebecca approached the stitch repeats differently than my brain wants to work. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make either one of us wrong or better or worse or anything else. It's simply a difference, like the difference between cats and dogs.
Yeah.
So I want to say that right up front. I love the heck out of this stitch pattern. I have enjoyed knitting on it, and now here we come to my next issue.
Oh no.
I'm out of yarn.
Okay, and here's why this is kind of an issue. I bought this at Indian Tangled for
Right.
Cathie.
I have one skein. And this was supposed to be a one skein project. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what the heck? And then I thought, you know what? I never checked my gauge. Not once.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we
I
were
think
so
it's-
into
we were so into the
stitch
stitch pattern. So I looked at the pattern and I think it's a 16 stitch gauge.
Okay.
I'm getting like 19 and a half. So
Which I have
here,
to tell you a story
here,
off camera.
I'm not upset. I am not frustrated. What I'm going to do, because I love knitting this. I'm going to rip the whole thing back out.
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
Okay.
And I'm going up 2 needle sizes.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to make a second attempt at it.
Okay.
And I also think, while I love the stitch pattern, I also think my gauge makes it a little bit too stiff.
I was about to say, it seems a
The
bit
fabric is a bit dense,
Yeah.
and so I think this will make it drapier.
Yeah.
And I'm not upset about this. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I've got this all figured out. I've enjoyed knitting every stitch in here, and now I've got the pattern down, so it's gonna just
Fly.
Should just fly by.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm gonna rip it all the way back out, and I'm going to start over. So those of you that get a little frustrated because you have to do this, it happens to all of us at
Yeah.
some point in time.
Oh, for sure.
I like a phrase. You and I attended a seminar a couple of years ago, and I liked a phrase in there, which was, instead of being frustrated, get fascinated. And I think that's what's happened to me with this pattern. I have gotten fascinated. So I'm not frustrated at all.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping by the next podcast that this will be finished
For the second time.
for the second time, because it was nearly an FO.
So,
Now
speaking of
your struggles.
frustrations, So, y'all know I started spinning last year. And then, so I spun a couple things. I showed it on the podcast. I have 2 completed braids that were spun. And I had this.
And the yarn looks great,
Yes.
by the way.
This third spin I started doing right from the get-go. I was a little frustrated with the yarn. The yarn's a different breed of sheep than I have spun so far.
Okay,
So
you're talking about the fiber
the
now.
fiber, yeah.
Yes.
So the fiber. So this is the yarn, or yeah. Fiber. This is the fiber. Do we know what it is? I forgot already.
Oh, I should know.
I know.
It's
not the
has,
Shetland. Is it Corriedale?
I think it's Corriedale.
I feel like it's 100% Corriedale.
Maybe so.
Yes. Okay.
Maybe so.
So the reason I'm asking Cathie is because Josh dyed this for me. And he also dyed some more and has sold it on the website. So I have not done correct. I have not done 100% Corriedale. I've spun a Polworth. I've spun that BFL silk blend. Mm-hmm. And then I attempted to spin a little bit of Shetland, and it was frustrating. But I think, okay, so when I first started that Shetland, and it was really frustrating to me, so I just pulled it off and I started spinning this. And this was a little thick, thin at the beginning and all this stuff, but then I kind of got into a little groove, but then my spinner wasn't uptaking, and I couldn't figure it out. So I have a Dreaming Robots Electric Eel Nano. I believe it's the original. I bought it secondhand. And so it was just frustrating me. So I put it away, and then people would be like, oh, you need to spin. I'm like, yeah, I want to spin. And I pull it out, and it wouldn't uptake. And I was just getting really, really frustrated. And like everything I would look on YouTube and everything would just be like, well, you're just not doing this. I'm like, it is this. Mm-hmm. And so then it's like, was it just the Nano? And then there's this whole group of people that are like, it's a horrible thing to spin on, it's a great thing to spin on, It's like all these different things,
All the different opinions.
and so then the night before we left, I was just like, I threw it up on Instagrams, like, anybody can help, blah blah blah. And somebody was like, try your tension. And so there's a thing on the back, and I'm not an expert, just saying, I'm still bumbling my way through some of this stuff, but there's a thing on the back of the Nano Control that's basically like an elastic strap, and so you tighten it or you loosen it.
Okay.
And it has to do with like the tension, my understanding, the tension that is put on, not like how fast it spins, but like then the resistance maybe?
Is this similar to when we take a hank of yarn and we twist it into a skein, and the little machine that we use to do that has different settings?
No.
Is there any similarity?
That would be the speed. That would be more of the speed setting.
Okay.
This would be more of like how tight or not you hold the skein, my understanding. You know, I hold the skein a lot tighter than you do.
Okay, so you adjust it based on the way you're holding your fiber.
No, you just do with this elastic band.
I know nothing about spinning. Maybe I should just keep my mouth shut and let you go through your story.
Anyway, so this thing, and so I cranked it all the way tight, didn't do anything. I cranked it all the way loose, didn't seem to do anything, and I just kind of went, and then all of a sudden it was spinning, and it was uptaking. I don't know what I did.
One of those mysteries of the universe?
One of those mysteries of the universe.
Okay.
But it's working, and I have a spin. So I'm going to show you my bobbin. So this is, did he come up with a name for this color? Obviously he did. It's on the website. I don't
remember what it's
but
called.
This colorway, beautiful blues and grays, basically. And that's how it's spun. I have split my fiber in half, lengthwise, and then into little mini bits. And this
Is that what you call roll gags or something?
No,
like
not
that?
a roll egg. No, roll gags.
Like I said,
Roll
I
egg.
don't spin, so.
No.
But I'm very interested and curious about it. I mean, I find it fascinating.
There's a name for this kind of spinning where you split it. Oh my gosh.
Okay, all I know are a bunch of terms. Is it fractal?
Fractal. Yes.
Okay.
It's a fractal spin.
Okay. See, I've heard the
Yes.
term. I
Yeah.
don't really even know what it means,
Yeah.
but I've heard the term.
So I'm going to fractal spin this.
Okay.
So we'll see.
I can't wait to see how it comes out because the colors are just
I know.
really.
The colors
I
are so
was
good.
really impressed with this. We simply haven't dyed enough of the roving yet for me to fix in my brain like
How it's
the
gonna work.
color names and things like that. So
He does have some on his website. I don't know if he has this color available, but he does have some of this, and he has a Shetland blend, and I think maybe one other.
no, I think there's just
Two
two. I think
others?
it's just
Okay.
two. We've got another one that's going to be coming, but we have not dyed any of it yet.
Yes. So anyway, I'm enjoying it, and I'm going to get back into spinning
Love it.
now that I've got it fixed. Although, you know, if anyone wants to send me a Daedalus Starlink, you can do that. I won't
We
be upset.
never would turn
Or even
down
I'll
that.
take a full-size electric eel. You know,
Okay.
sponsored.
I don't know.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. Okay, let's get into a little bit of crochet. What do you think?
Because I got crochet.
All right, I
gotta get up.
have to get up and get mine.
Okay.
Sharon hogs the end of the table where she can reach everything, and her arms are longer to start with. So yeah,
Yeah, I was about to
mine
say-
is all over the place. here.
People were again shocked at how tall I was,
Yes.
which blows my mind because I don't feel I'm tall. But as you can see, we're both sitting up.
Hello.
I sat down and I was like, "Do we need to get your boosters?"
I know, and I actually mentioned for those of you of my generation that there goes the bobbin.
The bobbin.
Well, at least nothing fell off of it. I really missed the old phone books and Sears catalogs because I could plop one in this chair and get somewhat a little bit higher. You know, a lot of times I go to restaurants and I feel like asking for a child's booster seat because the seats and the table, I feel like I'm like right here trying to eat. But, tribulations of being a vertically challenged person. So, we're going to talk about languishing whips as far as my crochet project is concerned. Almost 2 years ago, I began crocheting the Limonata. And whose pattern is the Limonata? Do you remember?
I know it was published in Pom Pom magazine.
Pom Pom magazine. 2 years ago, because I started this in June of 2023. And
Megan, maybe.
I'll have Josh, look it up for the show notes because I cannot.
I think he looks up the show notes.
Oh, Sharon, look up the show notes and tell Josh what to put in here. But anyway, it is a very interesting crochet project in that when I first looked at it, I love the finished item. I mean, it's just gorgeous, and I'm actually making this for my daughter. And I thought you would just crochet up a bunch of these little round medallions and then you would join them together, but that's not the way it works. You actually join them as you go.
Okay.
So I have a little bit of difficulty with crochet. I've crocheted for years and years and years. My difficulty involves my hands and my arthritis, so I can only do a little bit at a time. I, by golly, am going to finish this. I am going to get this finished because it is so cute. And I'm doing it in this Kelbourne Woolens Mojave.
Yeah, there's better.
And I forgot the exact name, the coral.
It's coral.
Is it just coral?
It's just called coral.
Okay, I didn't know if it had like a descriptor or something
Which
in the coral
we are
colorway.
Out of, but I'm hoping the shipment arrives by the time you see this. It should be either the end of fingers and toes crossed. Hopefully the end of probably the next week.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Okay. I know that we do have a shipment coming.
Yeah, we will be getting more.
It is going to be such a cute little top to wear over a tank top, and I can't wait to see my daughter actually wear this because I think it just suits her perfectly.
It's very cute.
So I'm using the podcast as a motivator to help me finally get this finished. And if I will just tackle a few motifs a day, each motif doesn't take that long individually. I think I can get it done. So there's my crochet project. Let's talk about yours.
So mine is the Tropez by Susanne Muller, and I have finished my back, ta-da, which just looks like a square, but I mean that basically it's a rectangle. So the back is just real simple, rectangular. You crochet it to measurements. The front piece, however, which I have started, starts off the same, but then there's going to be neck shaping and shoulder shaping and stuff like that.
This makes me want to crochet more because I'm really liking this.
So this will be the front down at the bottom, and then you sew the shoulders together, seam the shoulders together, and then you knit or crochet the sleeves off of each. Going down. So cool construction. And again, wear this like over a tank top, over a swimsuit.
Yes. So what yarn are you using?
I'm using the Undine fingering in the colorway Jewelweed, which we still have a decent chunk of. You can see it over there. The top row and a little bit of this middle row is the fingering, the bottom row is the DK. So we've been very wiped out of DK, but we still have some of the fingering in this exact color, should you want to do it. I am crocheting the third, I can't remember if I'm doing the second or the third size. Because I want some positive ease. Obviously, I'm going to wear it over things and everything. I don't want it skin tight, but I didn't want like tons of positive ease. And I think she recommended for my bust size to go with the third size. I think I'm doing the third size. I think. But anyway,
I just think it's so cute. I'm gonna
cute.
I'm gonna have to do one. I
do.
just am.
Yes, even though I'm a beige girl, I do.
Sharon's doing something in color.
Wait till you see my acquisition.
Oh.
So yes, I do enjoy color, especially in the summer. And like I keep telling everyone, my alter ego is like bohemian chic, colorful, cutesy.
Let me ask you something about color.
Yes.
And we all have our lanes. I mean,
Yes.
everybody knows, what color blue yarn am I going to choose next. But do you feel like sometimes your color choices sort of reflect your mood? And I'm not talking about like a daily mood, but kind of a general, kind of a seasonal mood.
Like a season or an era or kind of a season of life. Yes.
Yes.
Because like I feel like during the summer, I get a lot more laid back, playful, more of, I'll say, my personality comes through because it's warm.
Okay.
I'm not cold.
Okay.
I'm not miserable.
Well, and
I don't have my seasonal affective disorder. It's like all the things.
Summer to me kind of is synonymous with carefree and fun, and
I love summer. Like, that's my
Yes.
favorite. I love it. If I could only, I know I have a knit store.
we need to be on that tropical island
We
somewhere.
need to be on a tropical
She'll
island.
be on the beach. I'll be underwater. We'll both be happy.
Fine. Yes, exactly. We can retire to the same place. Exactly.
Right.
Josh can go have his mountain somewhere.
Oh, he can go with my daughter who loves to hike the
Hike, yeah,
mountains.
exactly,
Okay, so
yeah,
Josh
so
and my
they'll-
daughter can go off, and Sharon and I will
We'll go
go
find
the
the
opposite
beach
direction.
and the-
Although my daughter also does love the ocean, so
So we'll
She's-
just find an
yeah.
ocean with a tall mountain.
I happen to know a place.
There we go.
Yeah.
So we got it covered.
Right.
But yes, I think your mood, the season of life you're in, people that, okay, so yes, I work obviously here, it's different, but I still, yeah. I still have that dressing corporate kind of dress. I mean, I don't wear a suit, but
Sharon,
I mean, it's
Sharon,
just
I
different.
think part of that is a personality thing, because I have found I have always been the preppy dresser. Okay.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to dress up, now I'm not talking about a formal event,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm just talking about something a little bit dressier than jeans and a t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
My go-to is to go with the preppy look,
Mm-hmm.
the button-down collar, and that's been since I was in high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there are parts of that are just joined to your personality.
Yeah,
I think.
it's kind of your. I watch a lot of YouTube about like finding your style.
Yes,
And not just
yes.
copying what you see in a magazine or online or on social media and whatnot. And it's like wear what makes you feel confident and everything. And so if I want to feel real confident, I'm gonna be a mostly pressed white shirt.
Mostly
A
pressed.
good pair of
Yes.
good jeans or good dress slacks and either some heels. And I know people are like, you wear heels? Yes, I do.
Yes, she does.
Or a very good pair of Birkenstocks if I'm casual. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna wear. Just to do that. But then at the same time, if I'm like, I don't have to be anywhere. I don't have to see people if I don't want to. I'm like, no makeup, the biggest maxi dress moo thing on planet Earth, and I look like
We
a
need
hippie.
need some pictures of this.
No, we do not need pictures of this.
because okay, here's the funny part. Obviously, there's a generational difference here. I mean, come on, let's just be realistic about this, okay? But you're not going to find me in a moo-moo. You're going to find me in the same situation.
Yeah.
I'm going to have on the short shorts and the tank top. And looking, yeah. I mean, in
that's
no
funny.
way. I mean, I even sort of have to cover that up when I walk my dog. And we all know the stories about walking your dog in the clothes that you wear, right?
yeah.
But yes, so that's just so funny because
It is funny.
You would think it would be
the
reversed.
opposite. Yeah, you would think I'd be the one in the short shorts and
Right.
Now, if I'm doing if I go work out during the summer, I am in like the booty shorts and
Yeah, but those
a
are
sports
workout
bra.
clothes.
But
Those don't count.
No,
Those don't even count in the capsule wardrobe. So
people
yeah.
people would also if you ever see me at Fitness Project Gym,
Okay.
I
I
rarely
won't see you because I don't go to gyms.
you won't recognize me because all my gym clothes are like neon colors.
Ooh.
It's true.
It's way of her disguising.
disguise.
Yes. Nobody will ever know. It's
Exactly,
her.
except now y'all do. So anyway, do you have another whip? You do. You need to talk about it.
Do I need to talk about
Yes,
this?
you
I
do.
haven't done anything on it.
Could
Really.
you talk about it? Well, yeah, but
Okay.
you've ripped it out and started over. And
I have
multiple
ripped
things.
it out and started over and ripped it out and started over. This is my nuts field in the boucle, and I don't remember if I talked about this is
This is, yeah.
Those of you that have knit in boucle know that it is a little bit challenging to knit with. So this is very slow going because I'm also doing a lace pattern. I'm just going to kind of get a little bit of this out.
But
here.
I don't think you talked about how you restarted it with the
Okay.
all of it.
All right. So what I decided was, with this boucle, the pattern wants me to seam it. And I decided I'm not picking up stitches in this boucle. Okay? So what I decided to do was to put an I-cord edge on each side, and following the pattern, all the stitches for the front, the left front, the right front, and the back, and I'm knitting them all together with a purl stitch in between.
Yeah.
Now, you were talking about one of your sweaters, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 podcasts ago, that had that detail, and then you were supposed to seam it. And you chose not to seam it because of the purl stitch detail down the side, which is what led me to think, wait a minute, why don't I do the same thing? I know the seaming of this was intended to provide a little bit of structure. So I decided I can do the same thing. I'll do the purl stitch down. So I've got the purl stitch between the front and the back.
Yeah, right here.
Okay, on each side. And other than that, I'm going to follow the pattern for the fronts and the backs. But then I don't have to seam it. So this is my new start. And you will also note another little modification that I made. I did a provisional cast on with some scrap yarn because it's supposed to have a little bit of ribbing at the bottom. I will probably end up doing I-cord at the bottom, but I also wanted an easy way to be able to pick those stitches back up when I decided to do that. So my version of the nuts field. Stay tuned. We'll see how it works out.
Love it.
But I'm more excited about this version.
I love it. So I don't have any more whips, but I did make a yarn purchase while I was at Pick Up Every Stitch.
Okay, what did you do? Oh.
I know.
Oh. Now I'm, okay.
Yeah.
The food was bad. I mean, the food, or talking about the food, was bad from my perspective about feeling really, I missed out. Okay, now we've got the food combined with this, and I'm like, girl.
Okay, so Pick Up Every Stitch. No, they don't sell online, so just forewarning. But they carry Knitting for Olive, and they had the pure silk in this poppy blue.
And you bought that for me. Wrong?
It is for me.
Oh.
See, I like color. It's a blue. It's
I love it.
So this is a...
Is this
Brett?
the Tessa silk?
No, it's not Tessa. Barrette.
Okay.
However we say that word.
Barrette?
Barrette.
Silk?
Bluet, if you're French.
I know that there are different kinds of silks.
Yeah.
And I read some about it 2 or 3 years ago. I'm sorry, I can't remember the differences.
My understanding is Tussa silk is very much similar, but it's processed different.
Okay.
Something like that. But anyway, so this is the silk, also sometimes called like raw silk, where it's not shiny.
Right.
It's a matte finish.
Right.
It can kind of feel almost more like there's linen or cotton mixed in, but it is 100% silk. I adore this, and I love it. And I was like, oh.
Do you have plans for it?
I do. Well, I kind of have plans. I'm thinking a tank
General
top.
plans.
General
Okay.
plans is a tank top.
Okay. All right.
In my library on Ravelry, I've already purchased the Petite Knit Audra, whichever. Tomato,
Right.
top, which is a tank top. It's not like a halter tank top, but it's slightly halter-ish. So I bought enough yarn to do that. It also is held double, so I figured if I buy enough yarn for the Audra top to hold double, then I'll have plenty to, if I just wanted to do a t-shirt or a different tank with a single strand, I'd still have plenty.
Okay.
If I changed my mind. So for my size holding double, it was only 4 balls.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So makes it pretty economical too. Knitting for Olive is not something that we carry. don't know. Maybe it will be in the future. It would be lovely. I just don't know. But that being said, we are in the process of finalizing when all of our summer yarn is going to be getting here.
Right.
Because summer apparently already came.
If you're not from this area, let me tell you what happens to us in March.
We don't know what goes on.
We have winter in the morning, summer in the afternoons.
Mm-hmm.
Some days we have 3 days of winter, and then we have 5 days of summer. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we have summer in the morning, and then in the afternoon we have winter. Mm-hmm. So it's always, we don't know where we're at or what we're going to wear, so it's called layer, layer, layer.
It's true.
And always have a backup plan during the month of March here.
It is very true. And it'll be rainy in April because that's what it is.
Yes.
But anyway, so that's all I have for whips and whatnot and new acquisitions. However, the store has seen quite a few new acquisitions.
Yes,
so
we have some exciting things to show.
Let's dive in.
Okay, let's start with the Manor collection.
Let's start with Manor.
Okay. This past Friday, March the 28th of 2025, just in case you're watching this from a future time.
Time travelers.
Red Stag Fiber launched their fingering weight and worsted weight of the Yorkshire base. Now, this is 75% Polworth, 25% Massam. And we're in love. Mm-hmm. If any of you have tried the Sport or the DK, these are just as yummy, just in different weights. So what we're going to show you is we're going to show you the same colors in the different weights. The fingering tends to have a little bit more tonality to it just because of the fact that it is a two-ply fingering. I think it gives it a lot of character. Like I said before with my tea, I like the fact that it's not a plasticky solid color. Nothing against that. If that's what you want, then this is not...
There's a time and place for both.
Yes. This is not what you would probably enjoy. But I love it. So we're going to start off with French waistcoat.
Well, actually, let's start off with yardages. So
okay.
The fingering is 492.
Yes, it took me a little less, slightly less than 2 skeins to make my Tolsta tee, and I knit the 4th size.
So that is a little deceptive because at 492 yards on a skein for fingering, most people are going to say, oh, that's a very light fingering, almost borderline lace weight yarn. But it does not, because it plumps and blooms when you block it. So kind of like if you have ever worked with something like the Holst Garns or some of the more, British Wool Company, things like that, where their fingering is very fine, but then you block it and it's like, and holy crap, it just goes poof. Yeah. Okay, it kind of does this.
It's like popcorn.
Yeah, it does.
You have this little bitty kernel, and then boom.
Yeah, so the fingering kind of reacts like that. I think partly that's because of the 2-ply yarn, whereas you don't have the, I'll say, pressure. So, I mean, obviously all of the yarn blooms beautifully, but it just blooms even more on this. So then the worsted.
The worsted is 196 yards, which I think is generous for a 100-gram skein of worsted weight.
You can use it for Aran weight patterns.
I think it's because here again, because of the blooming and everything like that. So this is French waistcoat, which is the color I knit my Tolsta tee in.
I feel like the shadows are maybe back here.
This is always a conundrum for any of the podcasters that I watch, including us, to get the colors represented accurately. That looks pretty good.
That looks pretty good. Yeah. So French waistcoat.
Okay.
What can you reach?
Let's go cobblestone.
Okay, cobblestone. So nice medium gray.
What do we do next? Oh, one of my favorites. I have to say that a lot, though.
And this is a good representation. So you can see it's a lot more tonal on the fingering.
This is Mowry Firth.
Yeah.
Which is a teal green, as like the teal duck.
Yeah.
a sort of a true teal.
Yeah.
But you can definitely see that there's a little bit more tonality in the fingering, and it comes across a little bit more solid on the worsted.
Yeah. So fabulous. Again, I never alternate skeins because I live on the wild side. That being said, you can, absolutely. And a lot of people that do hand-dyed yarn always say you must alternate skeins, so by all means, do it.
And I think also it's probably a good idea if you've got something that's a little bit of a variegated
Like
or a
speckled or
speckled
variegated.
to avoid some pooling.
Yeah.
With the red stag, I just don't find that happens. The little bits of pooling that occur are scattered throughout, so it's not like this huge blob of what happened there.
Exactly.
So this is Mar. This is our medium blue color. This is a blue that kind of lends a little bit more to the, I guess, the purple side, the warm
It
side
has
of
like
blue.
a purple undertone, yeah.
It's not purple though.
No.
It's very definitely blue. It's like a kind of like a dark denim.
Dark denim, yeah.
Yes.
It's not quite navy,
No.
but dark denim is a good choice. Do you have this one?
Oh, I'm gonna have to reach over here. See if I can gather some more.
There you go.
Okay, let's do these in order.
Okay.
Okay,
St. Andrews, beautiful.
and again,
soft
Sharon's
green.
holding the fingering and I'm holding the worsted.
Yep.
Okay,
Then we've got gloss, which is the darker green. Beautiful. This one,
okay. Oh, one of my favorites.
a Royal Ballet. This
Royal-
was very popular.
Yes.
At,
This is a very, to me, this is such a unique color on this base because it's a pink, but it's not a pink.
no, because it's, I mean, the ladies at Pick Up Every Stitch were raving about it because it's neutral, but it's a color for the people that are neutral lovers but want a little color, but are, you know.
Excuse me,
Oh,
right.
no, this is true what you were doing.
Sorry.
So it's kind of that 90s grunge kind of dirty pink.
Yeah, but it goes so
it
well
goes with
with all the
everything.
other colors. Really does. Shall we go to
yeah.
this one?
Yep.
Okay.
So then we've got Aberdeenshire, which is like just a medium
A
taupey
medium
brown.
Taupey brown, yes. And you definitely, I think on this one you can also see that you get a little bit more tonality in the
tonalities.
fingering.
You got natural right there.
Okay.
So then this is the natural, this is the undyed. So the beautiful.
And this is what Sharon was using on her shawl.
Then we'll go with the dark brown, which is Dunedin.
Oh, you pronounced it right. Okay.
What?
It's kind of a joke about Sharon pronouncing some of the names of our yarn, and I really sometimes I think, let me see what name I can come up with that Sharon can't pronounce.
I feel like it sometimes.
However, while you were gone, I did notice something in the computer, and this may be part of your problem because
That I have it spelled
It
wrong?
was misspelled.
Yeah,
and so I
okay.
corrected that. So hopefully,
Yeah.
this is Dunedin. This is a darker brown, but it's a dark.
If you're me, Dunedian.
No, Dunedin. Okay, this is a darker brown, but it's a neutral brown.
It's very.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's very. I heard it described as a chocolate brown. Well, no, like a dark chocolate, or more truly like an espresso coffee bean brown.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
espresso coffee
Okay.
bean.
Look,
So then,
in fact, let's just compare. Okay.
so then you have
A classic.
a classic, which is definitely that red brown.
You can see the
mahogany
Yes.
kind of brown.
This always makes me think of going into the old research section in the library, which
Yeah.
is kind of where it got its name.
Yeah, a
But
classic.
you can see the difference here. How a classic has much more of a red tone, where the Dunedin is much more neutral in the brown shade.
Yeah, and it's not even like a gray brown. It's just a brown.
It's just a brown. Where shall we go?
I can do per pod.
Okay.
So per pod.
Another. This is a color, y'all. I'm going to do a project
It's-
one of these days, and
It's
I'm going to
spelled
combine
like so,
Right.
but it's per pod.
per pod. I'm going to combine this with some colors that are probably going to surprise you, and I can't wait.
Oh,
I'm just waiting for the right project.
okay.
Shall we go now with the
Royal mantle.
Royal Mantle, which is a very royal purple with like just a little bit of hints of blue and
Almost a burgundy.
Almost a burgundy running through it.
Love it.
Of course, you pick one that.
Well,
let me
all
get-
the rest of
Let
them.
me get the rest of them back over here where I can
I'm
reach.
missing one. I'm missing mulch slate. I'll go grab it.
Oh, okay.
Let's do this one.
Sorry.
And then I'll go grab it.
Okay. This is gilded. This is a burnished gold color, which I really like the way it comes out on this base because it's like a darker mustard. It's not a neon yellow by any
No.
stretch of the imagination, although a certain person we both know and love did purchase some of it
Purchase some?
because she
And
really likes
in
it.
certain lighting, it can almost pull like it's got a chartreuse green undertone. Not that it's chartreuse green,
No,
but that
but-
it has a little
but
bit
it
of a
can
green
pull that.
undertone.
So if you put it,
Here, I'm gonna go grab the missing
okay,
skin.
if you put it with the green, you can kind of see how it pulls that direction. On the other hand, if you put it with, we haven't even done the reds yet. Let's just see here. If you put it with the brown, it's a very classic gold color.
Yeah.
So, okay,
All right. Speaking of reds,
okay.
Brick Tavern.
Brick Tavern. Brick Tavern. There are no words to describe Brick Tavern. Brick Tavern is that it's brick. Okay,
It is.
Think of going. You talked about the English pub.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was the color of the brick.
It's the color of the brick.
Yeah.
And I love it, and it's one of my favorites for sure.
We'll do
Shall we
pink.
go down to the mid-range? Okay, so we had Royal Ballet.
Yeah.
We had Brick Tavern. This is Water Avens. This is I liked, one customer said, so is this pinky red color cool or warm? What would you say? I want to see if you agree with what I
feel like
said.
it can go either way, but I feel like just on its own, it tends to be on the cool side.
That's exactly what I think. It's on the cool side. However,
But you can put it with
you would
brick.
think it wouldn't go well with this, but look at that.
It does go good.
It does.
And conversely, you can put it with his Dachas Surrey, which I don't have up here, in
Right.
Great Hall, which is a cherry blue red.
Right.
And it's perfect,
And
too.
it goes perfect with that.
So yeah, there's a lot
Yeah,
of
Water Avens.
Water Avens. It's almost like, especially on the gray base, I feel like that rose color. That
Yes.
perfect rose.
Yes. I would agree with that.
One of my favorites.
Antique leather.
Love it. And I really love that it pulls a little more tonalities in the
Yes.
fingering.
Yes.
So antique leather. And last but not least, another favorite.
Welsh slate. Now, Welsh slate is a dark gray, bordering on black, but with a blue undertone.
Yep. And you get that really nice tonality in it.
In the fingering. Yes.
I can't tell you how many Doppio combinations we sold at Pick You're knocking it down. Jeez.
Okay. Sorry. We nearly went crashing to the floor, at least on the camera.
Oh goodness. Okay. The other thing, I know we're going a bit long, but the other thing that we got in, we always have to share, is the
Of
new
course.
batch of Spincycle. It's so good. Okay, so we got 3 new colors of plump, or 2 new colors of plump and 1 restock.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
So one of the new colors is dark side.
Look at that.
I know it's not really plump season, especially not here, but I mean, go ahead and grab it for when you have the urge next winter to power knit a plump hat or
And I
headband.
talked about this on the live, Sharon, that I did on Friday. Don't put off your winter knits too long.
No.
Maybe you don't want 14 winter projects on your needles right now during
Yeah.
the warmer weather. But around here, it's like I always put off too late, and then it's like, well, I don't have time to knit that before it turns warm again. So, yeah, kind of keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So here we have, of course, Stay Ready. Oh, look at that.
So
That's
we've had Stay Ready
beautiful.
before, of course, but fabulous.
And then house blend. So regardless of what kind of coffee it is you like, there's a color in here to
Yep.
represent that.
So, of course, House Blend is a brand new color that they
Right.
just came out with. It's fabulous. So we have these 3 plumps available, and
You want to do the
one
Stay
more.
Ready and the,
yep, I'll do these.
okay.
And then Elizabeth's coming in. So we've been chatting a long time. So, okay, we'll do this quick. Stay ready. Let's do rapid fire.
Okay.
Stay ready. Because you've seen that before. Go.
Nicoya.
This is a new batch of Goldie. And it's very gold.
Ooh, I like that. And here's your neons.
Snow
Snow
cone.
cone. I love this.
So that's a new one. Then we have House Blend in the dyed in the wool. This is getting low already, so grab it quick.
Rabbit hole. Oh, if you're a pink lover, this one is up your alley.
Pinks and
Look at
teals.
that, pinks and teals. I kind of like that myself.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, a restock of light years.
Yep, perfect. We also have available mini pom-pom makers. I feel like I'm about to do rapid fire.
Yeah, this is speed product.
Speed product. And we restocked our Prim needle sets.
Oh, good.
So we have
Those are the
those
best
back in
crochet
stock.
needles. Or crochet hooks. I really like
They
those.
are. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.